The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clark.
Good morning, I'm Nico de Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and our freedoms. And it's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg, 69 degrees, going up to 76 degrees and partly cloudy. And it's nice and warm, and it's a nice change from the cold we've been having. I'd like to remind you, pick up our Primal Edge and our Health Signals newsletter. You know, we have a sale right now. You go to services on TFNN website, and you'll find the Primal Edge and the Health Signals newsletter. Now, it's 25% off both of these right now. You can buy Health Signals by the year if you want to, by the 6 months, by 3 months, whatever you want. You get 25% off, and you get 25% off the first bottle of the Primal Edge too. So it's a good way to start getting into the program with the Primal Edge, because this is our one-shot wonder. We have over 310 cell-ready ingredients in there, all powered by humic and fulvic acid. Now, these are the acids that tell the cells either to accept what we're giving you, and also to get rid of the stuff we don't want, glyphosate, things like that. So this is really the basis for some really good nutrition. We have everything in there that you ever need. And of course, the Health Signals newsletters follows the show, has all the important information that we talk about here. Now, you'll notice that Paige is not with me, and she was on vacation in Lake Tahoe with her son, Austin, and unfortunately, she had a skiing accident. So she, I think it was 3 breaks in an ankle, twisted her ankle. And she said she was skiing for the 3rd day, and the 2 days she did fine. And the 3rd day, she had some new skis from a new resort. And I think the bindings were too tight anyways. The bindings never released when she made a turn, and bad things happened. So she's going to be out for a little while. I'm not sure how long. Her mobility is definitely compromised, but I wish my friend all the luck in the world, and I'm sure she's going to be healing very quickly, and I think she has her operation tomorrow. So best wishes to my friend, my dear friend, Paige Clark, and I hope she'll be back really soon. In the meantime, of course, pick up the Health Signals newsletter, pick up the Primal Edge, and let's get on with the show. So today I really want to talk about ketosis, because this is kind of forefront in the news, beyond paleo, beyond primal type of lifestyle. We're now getting into the real science of why people are choosing to go more in the low carbohydrate diet. So we're going to explain some of the things that around keto and why maybe you should be on the keto diet. So no, ketosis is a state which the body is using ketones as its primary fuel, and ketones are the byproduct of burning fats. Now, our entire lives we've been told that the primary source of energy in the body is carbohydrates or glucose, and this has been proven totally false. Ketones are an alternative fuel source under certain conditions. So let's explore what those conditions are, because these are important. So ketones are produced when the body is low in carbohydrates, which are glucose, and ketones provide a much more efficient and cleaner fuel source than glucose. If you think of ketones as sourcing the energy from an electric car, you get a smooth, quiet, and very clean energy. On the other hand, if you're running your body on glucose, it's equivalent to using diesel fuel. The process is dirty with lots of exhaust, and I really like this analogy. Ketones are produced when the body's burning fat, and on the average thin person, they carry around between 50,000 and 70,000 calories of stored fat in your body. If we compare this to the amount of glycogen which is stored glucose, we're only talking about 1,700 to 2,000 calories. So based on this information, wouldn't it make more sense that our bodies run on fat fuel? If you consider the old days when we were living out in the primal forest, if we only had glucose to run our bodies on, we wound up to being dead long time ago because the glucose reserves will only last about maybe 1 or 2 days. The goal is to switch our body from sugar fuel to fat fuel. And this is really what we have been talking about for the last 10 or 11 years on this show, is that we need to really understand this whole process and how it works. Interestingly, our body's original fuel source always was ketones. It's only recently we've been using glucose as a primary energy source. And this also explains the tremendous baggage that comes along with it, the kind of dirty fuel idea. Now, another interesting point, of course, is that as a baby, we all ran on ketones if we were breastfed. So what does this tell us? Of course, most mothers now have switched to giving their babies the carbohydrate-induced sugary infant formula made from soy. This has really changed everything. For a long time, ketones were really believed to be toxic. This is because, and this is only because, a severe diabetes state when a person runs out of insulin, and the body can generate a tremendous amount of ketones and dramatically increases acidicity. And this is why it's called ketoacidosis. And this is a very rare and only occurs in severe diabetic state and in only type 1 diabetes. So if you induce carbohydrates by limiting your carbohydrates, your acid levels will not even get close to a dangerous amount. And this is called the diet-induced ketosis or nutritional ketosis. Now, there are many types of ketogenic plans, but they'll have one thing in common: very, very low carbohydrates. This means you have to keep your total carbohydrate amounts below 50 grams per day. And the slower your metabolism, the lower your carbohydrate level should be. So you may need to go down to 20 grams or less per day. It really depends on how fast your metabolism is. So carbohydrates are the main type of food that affects fat burning, especially when it comes into the form of the refined carbs, which are bread, hidden sugars, and of course sugar itself. But you really don't need carbohydrates to thrive at all. You need vegetables you can eat, and we need those. There's a lot of nutrition in vegetables. But the body really does not require carbohydrates for health at all. As even conventional medicine practitioners will tell you, there is no clear requirement for dietary carbohydrates for human adults. That's pretty significant right there, folks. Protein is another type that you can prevent from getting into, prevent you from getting into ketosis. So if you also have high protein, if you're overeating, say, picture the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet really didn't restrict your protein. It's at a high fat, but if you have high protein, the high protein can also trigger insulin, and we'll explain that when I get back. So during the break, please go to the TFNN front page there, hit on services, and you get down to see the Primal Nutrition, and you see the health signals there. Pick that up during the break, and we will be right back.
Nico de Haan and Paige Clark have launched a special for a limited time only. Save 25% off Primal Edge and Health Signals. Just use promo code HEALTH for Health Signals or use promo code PRIMAL for Primal Edge and save 25% off instantly when you sign up. All the details are available on each order page at TFNN. Certified personal trainer Nico de Haan's newsletter Health Signals comes out twice a month and is packed with great information on health, fitness, and diet. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox, and contains a special blend of ionic soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form. This sale won't last long. Sign up now using promo code HEALTH for Health Signals or Primal for Primal Edge and save 25%. For all the details, visit the front page of TFNN.com right now. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hi, welcome back. So we're talking about ketosis because it's all in the news right now. And of course, this is what Paige and I have been doing mostly for the last 10 or 11 years. And it's been called the paleo diet. Before it was called Atkins. But you know, now we're learning more and more, and I think this article that I'm reading from explains it really well, that carbohydrates are the main type of food that affects fat burning, especially when it comes in the form of those refined carbs, breads, and sugars, and things like that, but also excess protein. So the recommended style of diet here is that at a meal you have between 3 and 6 ounces of protein, and very, very low carbs, almost no carbs. And in the beginning, I recommend cutting out carbs completely because there are so many hidden carbs in things too. And even, you know, your protein-rich meals have some carbohydrates in it. It's important to know too that you don't need carbohydrates at all. It's not a requirement. The body requires protein for rebuilding, and it requires fat for fuel. It doesn't actually require any carbohydrates, even though we do get some nutrition value from vegetables. So protein is the other type that can prevent you from getting into ketosis if it's too high. And it's just recommended that you keep your protein between 3 and 6 ounces. Now, if you're working out, then you can have more of this. But interesting, I was listening to a podcast the other night, and one of the things the doctor recommends is that when you're actually doing bodybuilding stuff, you really don't need as much protein, because the protein, the actual exercise is activating the protein. So the protein is activated 2 ways, one by eating it and one by exercise. So the days that you exercise, you really don't need as much protein because it's already being activated. It's kind of an interesting thing. And I find myself too, when I go to the dojo and work out with the guys, that I'm eating a lot less that day. So it's interesting. It's even backwards from what you would think it would be. So when you are reducing carbs and excess protein, you are influencing the hormone insulin. And this is the hormone that determines what fuel we use. High insulin, glucose fuel. Low insulin is fat fuel. And there's a little diagram here which shows you that insulin makes your body use glucose fuel and prevents fat burning. So it really locks the fat out. So if you're consuming between 2 and 50 grams of carbohydrates per day and a moderate protein diet, what do you eat with the rest of the calories? So let's just go through this. First, I need to explain that fat, because we are all fully indoctrinated that fat is bad and that it makes us overweight and clogs our arteries, you kind of have to shift your thinking around. What's fascinating is that fat is the only type of food that has almost no effect on insulin. Excuse me, I need to drink some of my coffee here with fat in it. So let that sink in, that when you consume fat, it has no effect on insulin at all. It's only carbohydrates and protein. And carbohydrates are affecting it all the time, and protein is affecting it when you overconsume it. So the basis for another principle that the author here talks about, and the author here is Dr. Berg. He says you won't lose weight and get healthy if you follow the standard American diet. More than just losing weight or reducing your blood sugar, your goals should be getting healthy and making sure that you get as much nutrition as possible from what you eat, and making sure that the quality of the food is really high. He looks at ketosis as one strategy or one piece of the puzzle. Ketosis is healthy only because it allows your body to run on a cleaner fuel. He says, being in this field for a while, I stumbled on all sorts of aspects of ketosis that continue to tweak things or optimize the results. So we're finding out a lot more and more about ketosis, because now we have a lot of our medical people doing experiments, doing trials with people in ketosis. So we're getting a lot of more information. So example, if you get into ketosis and release your stored fat into your fat cells, there's a chance you could end up with fatty liver, since all the fat flowing through has come out through the liver. The one way to prevent this is to consume larger quantities of vegetables or salads, a way of keeping your liver flushed of the fat. A recent study, in fact, found that a ketogenic diet reduced fat on the liver, inflammation, and fibrosis. So really what you're saying is the quality of food makes a big difference, because your liver processes this. So if your protein is contaminated, if you've got glyphosate in it, if they're using pesticides in it, if the animals are eating the wrong type of diet, mainly corn or soy, then you're getting the calories, but these are dirty calories. And now your liver has to put up with that. Same with the carbohydrates. If you're eating vegetables that are not organic, now your liver has to do a lot more work. And what gets stuck in there with the carbohydrates and the protein is the fat. So the fat doesn't get metabolized because it's working really hard on getting rid of the excess carbohydrates and the excess protein. And again, insulin is involved in that. So an average body needs between 7 and 10 cups of salad or vegetables to meet the requirements for some nutrients like potassium. But remember that we can get a lot of the nutrition from the organ meats that we have too. Our ancestors ate, what they call from the mouth to the hoof. They used every single thing. And if you use the whole animal, now you're tapping into things that we probably don't even get into, because most of the time when you go to the butcher shop, you're looking at muscle meat with the fat around it. But our ancestors paid a lot more attention to the other types of meat, and in many cases will shun the muscle meat for the organs, for the brain, for the pancreas, for even the intestines and things like that, because this is where that extra nutrition is without the high calories. This is where you'll find really, really good stuff. Liver, of course, cleans the body, and when you eat liver, it does the same thing. So all these types of food from inside an animal is always good for us. Blood, we don't even drink blood anymore, except in certain occasions. So what about the calories? There are certain concerning calories is very important, because most diets always emphasize weight loss in the calories. So simply eating less calories and you'll manage your weight, and that's kind of the way we thought of it. But when you're getting into what we're supposed to be eating, let's take a look at this little chart here we have. And it gives you a Here we go. So if you're on a ketogenic diet, you're eating about 70% of the fat, about 20% of fat, and then you're consuming carbs in various forms. This one carb here, this 5%, is probably included in whatever you're eating, animal food and things like that, and then you have maybe 5% of vegetables and salads and things like that. Notice there's not any mention here of tubers and things like that, because really, under most conditions, our ancestors probably never ate those, and the difference being maybe in the high Andes, where there's high altitude, that's where potatoes originally originated, and they use them there because that's a good source of energy for them at high altitude, and that's why potatoes were used. So, during the break, please pick up our Primal Edge and our One-Shot Wonder, and also the sale is going on right now, 25% off on both this and the newsletter. I'll be right back.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. The Taz Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The Taz Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of Taz Market Profile, the Taz Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the Taz Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at Taz has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the Taz Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the Taz order page at tfnn.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the Taz Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
So welcome back to the show. So we're talking about ketogenic diet. So what foods do you want to avoid out of ketogenic diet? And the main ones here are grains, of course. That's the wheat, the corn, the rice, and the cereal, any kind of cereal. Of course, these are all GMOs here in America. They've always all been sprayed with glyphosate, all kinds of insecticides on top of that also because of the glyphosate. So this is something you need to get out even if you're not interested in a ketogenic diet. The other thing, of course, is sugar and this includes honey, agave, even worse, maple syrup. Any, those natural sugars later on will come into play for you, and you'll start using them a little bit. I use honey usually in the afternoons or early evening, but I don't use any of the other stuff. Fruit, I don't use at all, except for blueberries and raspberries. And raspberries, if I can find them without those little pits in them, that's really good. These are very low glycemic index, and they don't typically induce insulin. The other thing are tubers, potatoes, even the yams, even the colored ones, I would avoid until you are very sure that you're in ketosis. And this usually takes a couple of weeks for a very healthy person. It may take 6 weeks. It may take a couple of months, depending on what you're doing. If you're still using honey and things like that, you may not get into it. It may be that your body is so used to having these sugars around that you need to completely cut them out. And that's just advice that I give you. The other thing are bad sweeteners, aspartame, a lot of these cancerous chemicals that really do spike insulin. Studies show that people who drink diet sodas are typically obese. So diet sodas are just as bad, maybe worse, folks, than the regular sodas. And if you're still drinking sodas, you're not interested in your health at all. It's kind of like smoking. You're not going to do it. So what foods can you eat? Well, of course, you start with the meats. Beef, lamb, poultry, fish and seafood naturally, eggs, organic eggs, eggs from chickens that roam around and find their own food. The other thing, of course, are leafy greens like spinach and kale, non-starchy vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, and high-fat dairy, which is sometimes hard to find, but your hard cheeses are okay. Your high-fat cream is great. Usually the high-fat cream in small amounts is really good, and a lot of them are not pasteurized, even better for you. If you can find raw milk or milk that is a lot better, go to your farmer if you can. That's something. I don't drink milk anymore. I never really enjoyed milk. Unless it was ice cold, then I could tolerate it. But I think it was about 15 or 16, my mother stopped making me drink milk, and that's when I stopped. So the other thing, some sweeteners you can use like stevia, things like that. The other fats are coconut oil, high fat, salad dressing, any kind of saturated fat that comes from animals, and as long as it's clean, extra virgin olive oil. Now the fruit oils, we recommend not using them in cooking except at very, very low heat. And extra virgin olive oil is okay to heat very low, but the other fruit oils I would not use. Avocado oil you can use too, actually. But I would go to coconut oil or palm seed oil, if you're going to use it for frying, or lard, which is even the best, and that's what we always used to use. So now I want to get back into insulin. So insulin is the body's main hormone switch. It determines which fuel you will use, fat or sugar. So if insulin is too high, no fat will be burned, only sugar. If insulin is low, fat will be used extensively as fuel. So what exactly is insulin? And here we have a nice little chart of locking it up. So insulin is made by the pancreas, which is located under your left rib cage. And look at insulin as the key that allows sugar or glucose into your cells. Insulin does 6 main things and a lot of other minor things also. Number 1, it acts as a key to open the door, allowing cells to get the sugar fuel. Number 2, it lowers excess sugar in the blood after eating. That's its primary function. It stores sugar in the liver and muscles. Stored glucose is called glycogen. So it's stored along your muscles and in your liver, and this makes it easy access for extra fuel, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It converts excess sugar to fat, especially around the belly, and cholesterol. So when it's shoving it into your fat cells, and this is how you accumulate that fat. Number 5, it allows protein, your amino acids, into the cell. So it's also important. So when you're eating any kind of food, you can kind of picture that insulin is going in there to see what's in there and saying if it's needed. So if it's, you're very, very low in carbohydrates and you've got a little bit of protein in there, you got a lot of fat in there, you've got a very little insulin going along, it's a signaling, it goes along your bloodstream and finally lands towards the cell that it wants to get into, and it tells the cell to open up, and all the nutrition goes in. Anything that it wants to get rid of, like excess fat, is taken out, put into the bloodstream and shot out. So a pretty good system. Number 6, it allows all the minerals, especially your potassium, into the cell. And here we have a nice little picture of insulin into the blood going into fat cells or other cells. And actually, insulin is telling everything where to go. Insulin is the main fat-making hormone. In its presence, no fat can be burned. In studies, you will hear this explained as insulin inhibits or prevents fat burning in your fat cells. It prevents fat from being released from your cells so you can burn it off as fuel, meaning that you don't have any fat loss. Insulin stores fat mainly in and around your midsection. In fact, your belly size is the best measurement of how much insulin you have in your bloodstream. And the author says, I refer to glucose and sugar interchangeably because they are basically the same thing. It's just a different form. Sugar is outside the body, glucose is inside the body, and that's just how the process that goes. The faster your body breaks down food into sugar, the higher the insulin response. There is even a scale called the glycemic index, which measures the spike of sugar in the blood. Another little chart here. The faster, I said that already, so the main trigger of insulin is carbohydrates. You eat carbs, they turn into sugar, it raises glucose in your blood. That triggers insulin to whisk in and do its job of lowering blood sugar, as you see in this diagram. So what does normal blood sugar mean? The normal range is between 80 and 100 on the DL stage. So what do these numbers really mean? And a lot of times it's kind of confusing, I think. So let's look at this one here. If your blood is normal, it means that you have roughly 1 heaping teaspoon of sugar in your blood. An average person has about 1 to 1/3 gallon of blood in their body. As you can see, we barely need any sugar at all. That 1 teaspoon of sugar can even come from non-carbohydrate sources like protein. But we have said that the average person in the U.S. consumes 31 teaspoons of sugar every single day. Isn't that something, folks? That many. Just imagine how hard insulin has to work to remove this massively excessive amount of sugar from the body. It has to work 31 times harder, and that's pretty crazy. Even crazier is that the American Diabetes Association recommends food that equate to over 50 teaspoons of sugar every day. That's pretty crazy right there. Anyway, when we come back, we'll come and talk about how your body copes with this excess blood sugar and how insulin is the thing there that's going to save your life, but also causes lots of problems.
Nico de Haan and Paige Clark have launched a special for a limited time only. Save 25% off Primal Edge and Health Signals. Just use promo code HEALTH for Health Signals or use promo code PRIMAL for Primal Edge and save 25% off instantly when you sign up. All the details are available on each order page at TFNN. Certified personal trainer Nico de Haan's newsletter Health Signals comes out twice a month and is packed with great information on health, fitness, and diet. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox, and contains a special blend of ionic soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form. This sale won't last long. Sign up now using promo code HEALTH for Health Signals or Primal for Primal Edge and save 25%. For all the details, visit the front page of TFNN.com right now. No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back. So before the break, I was talking about the American Diabetes Association, also the American Heart Association, and the USDA Food Pyramid and the Obesity Society all recommend similar eating plan of high carbohydrates. And before I said that, the average American eats about 31 teaspoons of sugar per day. That's 31 times the amount that's recommended in a ketogenic type of diet. So imagine how much harder your body has to work to get rid of it. It really doesn't work very well. So diabetes is the disease of too much sugar in the blood. And it's just called hyperglycemia. It's made hyper means excess of glycemia is glucose in the blood. So how to cure this thing? How does your body really accept, or how does it cope with this blood sugar and insulin? When we consume lots of sugar and have higher levels of insulin on a continuous basis, our cells try to protect ourselves and eventually start resisting or ignoring it. So in other words, insulin is there trying to protect it because there's just so much sugar going on. It can handle 1 or 2 little teaspoons, but if you're putting it with 31 teaspoons of sugar, then you're really overextending the use of insulin. And insulin is always overproduced, so it's trying to produce all the sugar. It's never going to keep up. So what happens is your cells prevent insulin from working in order to prevent the excess sugar in the cell. Your body's saying, if you keep eating sugar, I'm going to block this. So this is how the insulin resistance starts. Over time, an elevated blood sugar and insulin level causes your body to block or resist insulin. Your body considers sugar to be toxic and will protect you by stopping it from entering the cells. This is called insulin resistance. It causes a problem of your cells being provided of glucose or fuel. So you stay hungry and you crave carbs. It's the magic thing, isn't it? So here you are, you're giving your body fuel. It's the wrong fuel, you don't know it, and your body is just saying, I can't accept this any longer. You're giving me too much, so now I'm really starving you, but you're getting fatter and fatter in the process. So since the cells need fuel but cannot get it, the pancreas has to compensate by producing more insulin so the cells can get a little more fuel. Insulin resistance makes your pancreas work too hard. In fact, insulin resistance forces the pancreas to produce 5 to 7 times more insulin than it normally should. So you have a situation where the body has way too much insulin in the blood, yet the insulin is not able to do its job in the cells either. The cells are resisting it. As a result, your body keeps making more and more insulin. The hormones are on a fast or a constant feedback loop, sending and receiving messages of sugar is high, we need more insulin, release more insulin, must lower our blood sugar to stay alive, blah, 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 and goes on and on. So think about what's happening in your body. Your cells are resisting insulin, causing your body to make a lot more. With all this extra insulin in your body, you could experience low blood sugars. This is called hypoglycemia, a word that comes from hypo and flow and glucose in your body. So hypoglycemia is causing by too much insulin in the blood and is a pre-diabetic situation. Signs of this include cravings for carbs, for sweets, becoming irritable or moody or depression, having vision problems, being hungry or dizzy, and the list goes on and on. Your brain is the first organ to feel the effects of low blood sugars. Now, it's important to know that your blood sugars can be normal or low because of the compensation of insulin. This can cause your doctor to fail to identify the real signs. The problem is that with a little bit more time, the pancreas eventually stops compensating, becomes exhausted, and makes less and less insulin, allowing the sugar in your blood to go higher and higher. So the first stage of insulin resistance is normal or low blood sugars due to excessive compensation of insulin. Then this is followed by higher and higher blood sugars as you lose the ability to compensate for the sugar with insulin, and this is called diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is higher levels of blood sugar due to insulin resistance. Type 2 diabetes are given a medication to reduce the cell's resistance to insulin. And as things worsen over time, type 2 diabetics are then put on insulin, because the pancreas is really too exhausted to produce it. The problem can easily be caught early if the doctor would test your fasting insulin levels in addition to your fasting glucose levels. But this is something that our conventional doctors don't do. All this happens gradually, does not show up in blood tests until months or sometimes years later. And in the meantime, however, insulin resistance symptoms will manifest in many ways. I have a diagram here of that. So you may feel anxiety, you'll be tired after you eat. Of course, you have the belly fat that shows. You have fatigue in the afternoon, cravings all times, kind of days. You're not satisfied with your meals. You have this brain fog, you have bladder issues, and you're moody until you're fed. I've certainly experienced that. I've told you many times that used to go on long trips, and then was the search for the food, and then you're really resisting the fast food thing, but you get kind of cranky, so finally what you do, you end up going to McDonald's because it does fill the gap. The trap I was in for years until I started the Primal lifestyle type of thing. So the worst advice to give a person with high insulin is eating too many carbs. In 1971, the American Diabetic Association recommended that your carbohydrates should be 45% of your diet. In 1986, they recommended that carbohydrates be 60% of your diet. In 1994, they allowed table salt and sugar added to foods as part of your total carbohydrates. Eating carbohydrates is the main trigger for insulin. If you want to lose weight, it's important to remember that insulin is the main fat-making hormone because it converts carbohydrates into fat. Especially true for belly fat, visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. That is that fat right there in that little picture. So let's talk about the insulin and a little bit more. Insulin is needed to help cells absorb nutrients such as potassium, magnesium, the amino acids in protein. In fact, almost every nutrient is influenced by insulin. Potassium is needed for energy, for balancing sodium in the body, and for all kinds of other things. We need amino acids for our hair, our nails, our skin, our joints, and our muscles, and we need magnesium for a healthy heart. Another diagram here. All these things we need, and of course the glucose and everything goes along with it, and insulin is the one. When you have insulin resistance, you not only starve your cell of fuel, but you become deficient in the nutrients and the protein. So that's one of the big problems. In addition to all these substances, there's a list here of vitamins and minerals that we need. Vitamin A, B, especially B1 and B12, vitamin C, D, E, vitamins 1, K1 and K2, calcium, and the omega-3 fat. Getting these nutrients can cause insulin resistance. In contrast, insulin resistance can prevent the cells from absorbing them. One of the terrible symptoms of diabetes is neuropathy. And that's a condition where the nerves in the feet and the hands are destroyed, leading to burning pain and numbness. The diabetic may experience a sensation of pins and needles in their feet. So this is a B1 and B12 deficiency. Well, it looks like we're up on a break again. So there's a lot of information here, folks, so stick around. I've got a little bit more. I'll be right back.
The universe provides us with opportunities all the time, and I was no different. In 2006, I invested $2,500 in a 2-day master trader course taught by Tom O'Brien, then ranked as the #1 market timer for gold. The fact is, if you want to be the best, you must learn from the best. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability and the Market Timer of the Year for 2018. To celebrate this accomplishment, TFNN.com is offering you a free 2-week subscription to my award-winning newsletter service, and there's no charge to you until day 15 unless you cancel sooner. That's right, we're waiving the normal upfront deposit, and this offer is available to anyone and everyone, even if you've tried Mastering Probability before. Sign up now, and I'll teach you the tool that identified the bottom in the Dow on January 26th, the morning that led to the largest daily point gain in history. This offer will expire on February 10th, so go to the homepage of TFNN.com now and click on Mastering Probability.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has put together the best lineup of live content for traders by traders every market day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected minds in the business. TFNN broadcasts 5 days a week live from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have live programming every market day during market hours. Every morning, Larry Pesavento kicks off the trading day live at 9 a.m. and breaks down the opening bell with Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the TFNN Bull Bear Trading Hour, followed at 11 a.m. by the team at TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim with Fast Market. Basil Chapman hosts the Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, Steve Rhodes at 1 p.m. with the Trader's Edge, Dave White at 2 p.m. with the Power Trading Hour, and Tom O'Brien anchors the daily lineup from 3 till 5 as host of the Tom O'Brien Show. Tune in to TFNN's Tiger TV on your computer or mobile device, and you can always find us streaming on YouTube. TFNN.com, educating investors.
And welcome back. So before the break, I was talking about insulin being very important because it allows things in the cell. So if you get insulin resistance and insulin is not working anymore, now all of a sudden you're stuck and all these nutritious things that you're eating are not getting into the cells. And that's the whole point of insulin, is it allows access to the cells. So we want a little bit of insulin. And of course, when we have problems with insulin, then you get heart disease, you get brain fog, dementia, a stroke, you have all kinds of high cholesterol, blood pressure, fatty livers, and everything like that. So the only way to lower that insulin is to go on this type of ketogenic diet where you avoid the grains and the fruits and the sugar and the tubers and all these unhealthy sweeteners, and then you go to eat some really good protein and maybe some leafy greens and some nuts and seeds once in a while. And if you want to use a sweetener like stevia, you can later on. But I recommend going to mostly a high-fat and low-protein diet and forgetting about the carbs for a little while until you're sure you're in ketosis, and then, of course, you can go back in, and then your experiment really starts of what you can add back in and not. One thing that doesn't seem to spike the insulin is alcohol. So if you have a pure form of alcohol and you enjoy a drink, of course not in excess, you can have that too on a ketogenic diet. So it's a very forgiving diet as long as you stay low carb, and that's what living a primal lifestyle is all about. So during this next week, we still have the Primal Edge and the newsletters on sale, 25% off. So I recommend you going to the website of TFNN, and you'll see under services that we have the Primal Edge Nutrition and the Health Signals newsletter right there. So it's really good to have Primal Edge out front with the 25% off, because this is a good incentive to get on the bandwagon and start getting really healthy. Unfortunately, Paige will be out for I don't know how long, might be a week or two. It depends on her mobility and how successful everything goes. But I wish her well, and I'm sending lots of healing light, and that's what I want you to do too, because a real close friend of mine, I love her dearly, and I want her back on the show just as soon as we can, because we have a lot of fun here, besides giving you the information you need. So thanks a lot for sticking around. This will be in our next newsletter coming up. There's a lot more to this article, but I did the best I could, and I think you'll find it a lot of good information there. So thanks for sticking around. See you next time. Bye-bye.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.